IGCSE Biology 0610, Paper 1, Variant 2, October, November 2024. Question number 21 to 40, already discussed in the previous video, the question number 1 to 20. Watch that video as well. Now, question number 21 is the diagram shows a cross section of a stem. And which statement correctly describes the location and function of phloem? Phloem is the main function of phloem is to transport sugars and other organic molecules from where they are produced to where they are needed. Where they are produced, that place is called as source, and the source is plants where the food is manufactured by the process of photosynthesis, and it is moved towards the sinks, and they are fruit stems or other developing fruits. In this way, I would like to say that the structure R is phloem. Yes, structure R is phloem. This is correct. This is stem, and in stem, the outer tissues are called as phloem tissues, and S is the xylem, which transport the water and mineral salts. So here R is phloem. R is phloem, so the A can be the correct option and C can be the correct option. B and D are not the correct option because they have written the structure S is phloem, structure S is xylem, and structure R is phloem. So in A option and C option, they have told us that the phloem is R. And now I will read the complete statement. Structure R is phloem and transport amino acids and starch. The food in the form of sucrose is transported from the source to the sink. So starch, this is not the correct option. So C is the correct option in which the transport amino acids and sucrose. So C is the correct option in this case. In question number 21, C is the correct option. Now we are moving because starch is always present in the storage form. It is the glucose which is manufactured is always stored in the form of starch, but the movement of the carbohydrates is in the form of sucrose, and the other organic molecules, especially the amino acids, are transported from the source to the sink. Now, next question number 22 is there, and question number 22 is some environmental factors are listed: carbon dioxide concentration and temperature, oxygen concentration, and wind speed. Carbon dioxide concentration. Which factors directly affect the rate of transpiration? Transpiration is the removal of water molecules or evaporation of water molecules through aerial parts of the plants, especially the leaves. So transpiration is the removal of water molecules or evaporation of the water molecules. So it is not concerned with the carbon dioxide concentration. Carbon dioxide is high or low. It will not affect the rate of transpiration. So one option is not correct. Second option is temperature. If temperature is high, the rate of transpiration will also become high because there will be the hotness around the plants. So more water will be evaporated from around the plant. So due to which the more transpiration will occur over there. So temperature is the one factor which affect the rate of transpiration. The third one is the oxygen concentration. Again, this is gas. It do not affect the rate of transpiration. So wind speed also affect the rate of transpiration, as if the wind is fast, the rate of transpiration will increase because the fast wind will take away the water molecules around the plant tissues. So it will affect the rate of transpiration. So factor 2 and factor 4 are the correct options, and according to them, the D is the correct option. A, B, and C are not the correct options. Now we are moving towards the next question. And next question is 23, and question number 23 is there. The diagram shows part of the blood vessel. You can see over here the blood vessel. They have shown the blood vessel, and students, they have asked which evidence in the diagram shows that it is vein, not an artery. That it is vein, not an artery. So I think the differences between the different three types of blood vessels, and we have to differentiate over here a vein and artery. Artery is highly muscular, don't have walls inside. So, but here you can see the wall is present between the vein. As you know, the less you can say the lumen is greater in vein as comparison to artery. Diameter is larger in vein as comparison to artery. So due to which the backward flow can be possible, because the function of wall is to stop the backward flow of blood. So you can see over here, they have shown the direction. So when blood will go in this direction, it will be open. This wall will be open. When the blood will try to come back, if it try to flow back in the downward direction, you can see it will not possible. It will become closed. So wall is present. So the presence of this wall confirm the that this is the vein. So there is a wall inside the blood vessel. This is the correct option, already explained. Blood is flowing in an upward direction. It will not explain that whether it is a vein or an artery. The third option, the blood vessel has a relatively small lumen. No, this lumen is not small because the vein don't have the small lumen. The blood vessel has a relatively thick walls. There is no thick wall. They are thin walls as comparison to arteries. So A is the correct option. B, C, D are not correct options. We have explained. Now question number 24, and question number 24 is the photo micrograph shows two blood cells. What is the function of these cells? These two blood cells, you can see they are thin in the center and they thick at the edges, and they are circular biconcave in nature. So it means they are red blood cells. Nucleus is absent, no nucleus. So these are the characteristics of the red blood cells. And the function of red blood cells is to transport oxygen. And they are non-nucleated. They have thin surface in the center and thick at the edges to increase its surface area for more oxygen to carry or to transport to different parts of the body. So C is the correct option. To carry out phagocytosis, phagocytosis is the function of white blood cells. To produce antibodies, again, this is the function of white blood cells. To transport vitamins, vitamins are not transported by red blood cells. You can see in this way, the main function of red blood cells is to transport oxygen. Now, next question is, which row matches a gas in expired air with a substance that can be used to test for the presence of that gas? So they have given us we have to expired air. Expired air contains carbon dioxide. So expired air contains carbon dioxide, inspired air contains oxygen. So gas present in expired air. So C and D, they have written the oxygen. Oxygen is not present in expired air. The main component of expired air is carbon dioxide. So we will go with the carbon dioxide. So these two options can be correct, any one of them. So DCPIP, the first test substance is DCPIP. DCPIP is a substance which is used to find out the presence of ascorbic acid or vitamin C. Ascorbic acid or vitamin C. So this is not the correct option. So lime water. When we, you can say pass the carbon dioxide through a lime water, or we will, you can say, blow our expired air into the lime water, then it will turn into milky appearance. So it will show the presence of carbon dioxide present in expired air. So according to this, B is the correct option. A, C, and D are not the correct options. Only B is the correct option in this case. Now, next question number 26 is there, and question number 26 is, which graph shows how temperature affects the rate of anaerobic respiration in yeast. Anaerobic respiration, respiration which takes place in the absence of oxygen. Oxygen is not required. So anaerobic respiration in yeast takes place, and as a result of this, there is formation of carbon dioxide and alcohol or methanol. Methanol. So these two are the products of anaerobic respiration in yeast. So we have to explain the hot temperature. If the temperature is becoming high, the rate of respiration will also become fast. But to a maximum temperature. Maximum temperature for rate of reaction is always 35 to 40 degree centigrade. After this, there will be the rate of reaction will slow down or it will stop. So here in this, they have shown the first graph, A, anaerobic respiration is smoothly moving at all temperatures. So this is not the correct option. The B, you can see it is starting and around, you can say about 35 to 40 degrees centigrade. This is optimum. So B can be the correct option. And in C, it was high, then it is slowing down, and then after temperatures 40 degrees centigrade is the optimum temperature. Okay, so C is not correct option. Again, D is not correct option, as it is decreasing. As the temperature is increasing, it is decreasing. So this is not correct options. So because if the temperature is increasing, the rate of anaerobic respiration will also increase to the optimum temperature. So at optimum temperature, B is the correct option over here in this graph. Now we are moving towards the next question number 27. And question number 27 is, what is the pathway of a reflex arc from the receptor to the effector? Stimulus will be detected by the receptors. Receptors are our sense organs. So from receptors, the message will go by sensory neuron to relay neuron, and relay neuron to motor neuron. So receptors will detect the changes or the stimulus, and sensory neurons will take the messages towards the brain or spinal cord, and from brain or spinal cord, relay neuron is there. So motor neuron will take back the messages from the central nervous system towards the effectors. So, motor neuron, if the question is starting from motor, statement is starting from motor neuron, so these are not the correct options. Secondly, these C and D are starting from sensory neuron. So we can say that sensory neuron is the correct option. Sensory to motor, no, again, it is not correct. So it will go from sensory towards relay neuron and towards motor neuron. So this will be the pathway of the reflex arc from the sensory towards the motor neuron. So D is the correct option. What is an effect of adrenaline secretion? Adrenaline is adrenal uh, is secreted from the adrenal glands, and when it is secreted, you can see the heartbeat is increased. A person is very emotional at that time, very and you can say so decreased breathing rate. No, this is not correct option. Breathing rate will increase when adrenal gland will secretes the adrenaline. So decreased pupil diameter. Pupil diameter will increase when there is darkness. Light will affect the size of the pupil. So this is not correct option. Development of secondary sexual characteristics are related with the estrogen or testosterone. So this is not correct option. So increased heart rate will be due to the secretion of adrenaline. So adrenaline is secreted by the adrenal gland. So D is the correct option. Question number 29. So question number 29 is what is phototropism? Photo, light. Tropism, the movement towards the light. So absorbing mineral ions. This is absorbing water. This is something else. This is the absorption, process of absorption. So A and B are not the correct option. C is the directional growth in response to gravity. This is called as uh, gravitropism, in which the root move towards the or in response to the gravity. So that is gravitropism. So photo means light. So directional growth in response to light. So D is the correct option because this is the movement of these of the plants towards the light. Next question number 30 is a gardener wants to grow some new plants that are identical to plants that she already has. Identical plants. Identical plants are produced as a result of asexual reproduction in which a single parent is required. So they plants which are produced from the single parent will be genetically identical. So which method of reproduction is used and how many plants are needed for her to grow some new identical plants? From one plant, many plants can be grown. As for example, we can take the cuttings of the one plant. We can use the different methods if we have a one plant with us. So asexual reproduction, sexual C and D are not correct options because they are showing the sexual reproduction. But we know that A and B are the asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction, one of them is correct, and we need one plant to grow many plants as a result of asexual reproduction. So A is the correct option. Other options are not correct. Now I'm moving towards the next questions. And next questions are question number 31. And question number 31 is question number 31 is what must always be present for seeds to germinate? seeds to germinate. Germination. Chlorophyll. Chlorophyll needs only for photosynthesis. So it is not required for germination. Germination of the seed. Seed is formed after the you can see process of fertilization. So light is also not required for seed germination. Soil is not a compulsory, you can say, to germinate the seeds. Water. Water is required for germination of seeds. Why water is required for germination of seeds? Some of you will say that soil is necessary for germination. Without soil, the seed can germinate. Seed will not germinate until it is not soaked into the water. It will absorb the water when there will be soaking of the seeds or when we sow it into the soil. So soil will not help to, if there is no water in the soil, the seed will not germinate. Whether soil is there, if there is no water, the seed will not germinate because when it will absorb water through micropyle, seed will absorb water through micropyle, then its testa or seed coat will become soft, and then what will happen? There will be the activation of the enzymes inside the seed, which will start breaking down the nutrients which are stored into the seed. And then after the storage of those seeds, so what will happen? The water absorption. Let me write testa soft enzyme activation and germination start. It will get the energy from the nutrients break down by these enzymes. So water is the crucial, you can say, which should be present to germinate the seeds. What is flagellum? Flagellum. Flagellum is a locomotive organ with the help of which there is the movement and wall of cells. First statement, wall of cells that implants into the lining of the uterus. Not, it is not implanted into the lining of the uterus. So this is not the correct option. Flagellum is a locomotive organ. So there is no need in the uterus for this flagellum. A cell structure that releases energy, energy is not released, it gets energy. It gets energy to move. A cell that forms after the sperm cell fuses with the egg cell, that is zygote. So an adaptive feature used for movement of sperm cell, adaptive feature uh, which is produced as a result of natural selection. So this is an adaptive feature used for the movement of sperm cells. Sperm cells has to reach to the egg. Sperm cells has to reach to the egg for fertilization or for fusion. So it needs this flagellum to move. So this is the adaptive feature. A, B, and C is not correct option. Now I'm moving towards the question number 33. And question number 33 is, which word describes a fertilized egg? Acrosome. Acrosome is the part of the sperm. Part of sperm. So A is the no, embryo. Embryo is formed after the zygote. So embryo is not a fertilized cell. Gamete is the sex cell. Zygote, yes. Egg and sperm they will fuse together to give rise as zygote. So zygote is fertilized cell. So D is the correct option. A, B, C are not correct. Question number 34. Which secondary sexual characteristics is caused by both testosterone and estrogen? Estrogen is the hormone secreted by the female, and testosterone is the hormone secreted by the male. These are the reproductive hormones. These are the reproductive hormones, and their basic function is, first of all, estrogen is the primary hormone responsible for breast development in females. But we have to discuss about both. This is not the function of testosterone. So breast development is not the correct option. Changes in body shape. Both are reproductive hormones in both genders, that is in female and male, and both are responsible for the change in the body shape. Their body shape is changed. The body, different body parts become prominent, and the boys look like boys and the girls look like just girls. So this can be the correct option. Next is growth of facial hair. So growth of facial hair, there are device and facial hair, male puberty, testosterone. This is caused by testosterone. So these are not, you can say, the common and deepening of the soil. They are caused by the testosterone, not by the estrogen. So B is the correct option. Only B is the correct option. Next question is question number 35. Some ways that disease can be transmitted are listed. So, number 1, airborne droplets, blood and needles, food and drink, unprotected sex. Which ways can transmit HIV? Human immune virus, which cause the AIDS, acquired immune deficiency syndrome. So this disease is caused, which is a sexually transmitting disease. Sexually transmitting disease. So airborne droplets will not affect its transmission. Blood and needles, yes, it is transmitted through blood as well. This is sexually transmitting and plus blood. It is responsible to transmit the blood transfusion. So blood and needles, food and drink will not affect its transmission. Unprotected sex will also affect its transmission. So according to this, C is the correct option. C is the correct option, in which statement 2 and 4 are correct. Now we are moving towards the next question. What do genes code for? What do genes code for? And here you can see the genes. Fats, protein, starch, and sugar. Fats are the, you can say, influence the synthesis of enzymes involved in the fat metabolism. So genes themselves do not directly code for fats. So this is not correct option. And then we move towards the starch. Starch is a complex carbohydrate which is made up of glucose. So like fats, genes can influence the enzymes involved in starch synthesis and breakdown, but do not directly code for the starch molecules itself. Again, sugars are also carbohydrates, the same. Similar to fats and starch, sugars are synthesized through metabolic pathways. Gene codes for them in enzymes that facilitate these will not affect. But whereas if we move towards the option B, proteins, this is the correct option. Why this is correct option? Because the genes provide the sequence information in the form of codons that specifies the amino acid order in the polypeptide chain. So these polypeptide chains then fold into functional proteins. This is the primary function of genes. So proteins, the protein is synthesized. Genes are the small segments of DNA. And DNA, you can say the proteins, and these genes code for proteins, for the formation of proteins. So B is the correct option, as uh, genes provide the sequence information which specify the amino acid order in polypeptide chains, and the process is called as protein synthesis. Translation and transcription takes place over there. These are the two stages. Now we are moving towards the next question number 37. And question number 37 is, when white flowered pea plants are crossed with red flowered pea plants, the offspring plants all have red flowers. It means the white flowers with the red flowers, red into white. So capital R, small r. So they will be, phenotype will be red, and genotype is capital R, small r. So if these offspring plants are crossed, if they are crossed, capital R, small r into capital R, small r. So Puneet square, capital R, small r, capital R, small r. So small r, small r. So both red flowers and white flowers, 3:1 ratio. 3 red and 1 white. So the allele for red flower is dominant and the offspring plants are heterozygous. Second statement is red flower is dominant. So it means R is dominant, because in capital R and small r, both are there, but the color will be the red. So according to this, the red flower is dominant because there is no white flower in the F1. This is F1 where there will be no white flower. So, and the offspring plants are heterozygous. They are heterozygous. Capital R, small r means the heterozygous. So A can be the correct option. The allele for red flower is dominant, and the homozygous. They are not homozygous. Allele for red flower is recessive, not recessive. White flowers are recessive. Red flowers are dominant over the white flowers because in F1 there is no white flower. Otherwise, there is heterozygous condition, that is capital R is dominant over small r. So it will show as the red flower. So A is the correct option in this case. Now the question number 38. What is a description of an adaptive feature? Already in the previous question, I had told you what is, you can say, adaptive feature. First of all, these are those features which are produced as a result of natural selection. So A option is an inherited characteristic that help an organisms to survive and reproduce. As a result of natural selection, I would like to say an inherited characteristic that help an organisms to survive and reproduce. So this definition perfectly aligns with the concept of an adaptive feature. So adaptation is a trait that is passed down through genes and provide a benefit in terms of survival and reproduction in a specific environment. As you know, as the environmental changes are there, only those organisms will survive in that environment which are selected by the nature, or with they have adaptive features according to that environment. If they have adaptations according to that environment, they will reproduce and they will survive and they will reproduce. So according to this, A is the correct option. The difference between individuals of the same species, these are variations, not the adaptive feature. So B is not the correct option. The genetic makeup of an organism, that is called as uh, genotype. That is not an adaptive feature. So this is not the correct option. So D is the transmission of information from generation to generation. This is inheritance. This is inheritance. This is not adaptive feature. So adaptive feature, which is produced as a result of natural selection, and as a result of this adaptation, the organisms survive and then they are able to reproduce. So A is the correct option. Now moving towards the next question, number 39. Question number 39. Which diagram shows a pyramid of biomass for the food chain shown? So, first of all, what is biomass? Biomass is organic matter from plants and animals that can be used as a fuel source for other industrial processes. For example, renewable energy sources, wood residues, energy crops, agriculture residues, and other organic residues. So tree, caterpillar, and which is very small food chain producers, and then caterpillars, very small. You can say uh, larvae of the butterfly, and the birds, they are larger in size. As so, tree will always have a greater biomass. So it will be at the base, and caterpillar will also have uh, larger biomass as comparison to bird. So it will be on the second, and the bird. So A is the correct option. So here I would like to say that A is the correct option. In B, you can see it is showing the pyramid of biomass, pyramid of number. Again, it is showing the pyramid of number, and these three are showing the pyramid of number. Pyramid of biomass will always be in this sequence. That is, it will, for any of the food chain, it will remain the same. Always the producers have greater biomass as comparison to primary consumers, and primary consumers have greater biomass as comparison to secondary and tertiary. So in this way, it will always be in this, that is, A is will always be the biomass for all different types of food chains. Now last question, number 40 is there. Which statement about conservation is correct? Conservation is to conserve the organisms, or to protect them, or for their protection. For so here they have given us the four different statements. The first statement is captive breeding programs can be used to conserve endangered species which have danger to become extinct. So the captive breeding involves breeding endangered animals in controlled environment. in controlled environment. This will be controlled environment. And in controlled environment, uh, they will save these, they will protect them to increase their population number with the ultimate goal of reintroducing them into the wild, because they are endangered species, they are becoming extinct. So A can be the correct option. Climate change is reducing the number of species that are in general. Climate will not affect in this way. Climatic change uh, is climate change is a major driver of species endangerment and extinction. So rising temperature, sea level rise, extreme weather events, and habitat alteration due to climate change are increasing the number of endangered species, not reducing it. It is increasing. So increasing. Habitat protection increases the number of species that are in the habitat protection. If we are protecting the habitats, it will not, you can say, reducing. It will, it, it is not, in, you can say, increasing the endangered species. It is not related with the conservation. So sustainable resources are those that first of all, what are sustainable resources? Defined as those that are used at a rate that allow them to naturally replenish or replaced. So sustainable cannot be, you can say, in this way, are those that are used more rapidly than they are replaced. So if resources are used more rapidly than they are replaced, they are unsustainable. So this is not correct option. Only A is the correct option. So it was all about question number 21 to 40. Please like, share, and subscribe my channel. I'm going to start A levels as well. You know, already most of the students are watching my videos. Please like, share, and subscribe. And to watch more videos. Thanks for watching.